Hi, my name is Sue, and I was born in South Korea in 1986. I was a very ordinary girl and had a very ordinary life with my mom and dad until I was 10. In 1996, I immigrated to USA with my dad. I couldn't understand why my mom wasn't coming with us, but I believed my dad's words and I thought she'll come after a year. I waited for that day, checking on the calendar every single day. But she never came, and I realized afterwards that everything was a lie. I still don't know all things in detail, but it seems complicated. Anyway, my new life in USA wasn't easy at all. I couldn't speak or understand English at all, and I had to stay at my aunt's house. My half-Korean cousin was there, and she was the same age as me. I met her previously when her family visited Korea, and she was able to speak both English and Korean. We went to school together, and I thought she could be a good friend of mine and would help me a lot. But it was all my imagination, and it seemed like she didn't really like my existence. I don't blame her for anything since I can understand her situation as a little girl. It was probably difficult for her to accept me. I felt like I became a deaf in an instant moment, and I had no idea what was going on. Many unbearable things happened, and living in USA as an Asian was painful. My school life wasn't really nice, and my dad didn't come often to see me. I cried a lot almost every day, and I didn't like my situation. I couldn't get along with my cousin much, and I stayed in the basement most of the time watching Korean music programs. After a year, my dad told me that I'll be getting out from my aunt's house and will be living in a new place. I thought my mom would also come pretty soon, and my life will get back to the old days. But everything was my imagination again, and even more serious things happened. The new place that I stayed was just for several months. I couldn't even go to my aunt's house either, and I felt like I was some kind of a luggage that nobody wanted. I had to stay at many other places, and I even remember staying at one of the Korean supermarket owner's house and my dad sleeping in a car. Haha. We had nowhere to go, and at last, my dad asked me about going back to Korea for a while. He said that he'll let me come again when the situation gets stable. I actually loved it since I could see my mom again. I couldn't see her for 3 years. I was really happy. So I flew to Korea and met my mom. I had tons of questions to her, and I asked her all about them, but the answers were a little disappointing. Anyway, staying in Korea was much better. I met my old friends and stayed in Korea for a few months. I don't really know about the procedure, but I even went to the middle school there for a few months. A few months later, my dad told me that I have to come again. I didn't really have a thought about where I should stay until I was 18. My parents just told me that I can't stay in Korea for more than 6 months because of my passport. I came back to America, but the worst time of my life began. My dad turned into a monster sometimes, and there was nothing I could do to avoid it. It was just the worst time of my life. During my high school vacation period, my dad told me to stay in Korea for a while again. It was a chance for me to get away from this monster. I won't have to stay with him, so it was so wonderful. While I was in Korea, I found out that I could stay in Korea if I just give up my green card. How simple. I hated moving back and forth, and not being able to get adjusted in one country was really painful. Also, I wanted to desperately run away from the worst time of my life. Therefore, I decided to give up my green card and stay in Korea. My parents said that giving up the green card is a crazy idea, but I still think that it was a perfect, brilliant, and genius decision. I do not regret at all. Afterwards, I went to the university in Korea and majored in English literature since English was the only thing better than other subjects. I've met my husband here in Korea and made my own family. I have 2 kids, and I teach English to Korean children, including my own kids. My life will be continued, and I don't think I'll ever regret my decision. I wanted to try this throughout my life that other YouTubers do, and I think it was a fun experience. I'm done with making essential videos for my website, so I'm not really sure what kind of videos I'll make from now on, but please subscribe if you liked it, and I'll try to come up with a nice idea. Thank you.